everybody. Thank you for joining me today. So today we're going to be doing this Mojo Monday. It's week, I think it says 85, as far as the sketch. This one, I was immediately drawn to it, but I, it didn't have any of the measurements online. So I always do fake it until it gets really close to it. Whenever it comes to those type of sketches. So what I did was is I figured that the long strip on the side, it looked like it was more than just an inch. So I made mine, I want to say like an inch and, I want to say an inch and a half for the long strip. And then what was left over as far as the top and the bottom on the right hand side, I kind of just played with measurements, laid the papers down, and just kept trimming and cutting until I had it looking the way I wanted. So this is a piece of glitter paper that I'm using my border punch to create a scallop edge. And the border punches are really a lost, sometimes forgotten tool in the craft room because now we have so many dies and different things, the cutting machines. But when you're working on something like a card and you just want to do a quick border, those hand punches are awesome to keep close by you if you can. I keep mine in a drawer, and though I don't pull them out all the time, they're close enough to me where I can think, oh yeah, let me just go grab that because I know that'll work, you know? So that's my little speech on that. So I trimmed it down, and the little piece that I trimmed down, I'm actually going to create my horizontal piece on the image. So this piece will lay like that, so that way you can see the scallops coming along the edge. And then we're going to go ahead and get that attached, okay? When it comes to glitter paper, make sure, I always use my ATG tape, but I definitely use the art glitter glue as well, only because you need that with the textured papers. Anything that has texture to it that you're gluing together, you're going to want to use wet glue and ATG because the ATG tape may not be enough. So now I'm just making sure everything is glued, and now we're going to start attaching and setting up our image basically. So I have figured out this top side, and I think this one with the polka dots, I'm going to have to turn it there, and that's when I find that it works. Okay. So once I figured out how my pages are laying, how I had cut them, I'm going to go ahead and start taping them down. Because remember, where they're going to meet up is where the gold strip I'm going to put across the center. Okay, wherever those meet. So you can make it as thick or as, I guess, the height as high as you want or how low you want, depending on where you want that line to go. For my bottom half, I think I chose 2.5. Was it 2.5? Or something like either 2.5, or 2.25. And then the other part I did 3. Yeah. I think I did 3 inches on that. And then the width wise, all I did was figure if I did 1.5 up for my strip, then I just figured out what the measurement would be to get me to 4 inches. So it would have been what? 2.5? Yeah. So 1.5, 2.5. So that would give me my 4, giving me a nice 1/8 of an inch border on my mat. And that's how I figured it out. Now, I realize that mine is a little bit higher up. So next time if I do this sketch, instead of making my bottom piece 2 inches, let's say, I may only do 1.5 inches. And then just make my rest of my 5.25 inch the rest. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know it's hard. I don't do numbers well at all, but for some reason when it comes to the cards and what I'm putting together as far as my papers, for some reason I'm able to catch on a little bit quicker. And I think it's just by playing, cutting, measuring. Sometimes you got to do that, you know? Like I'll get those type of pads where there's papers in it that you just don't like. You don't like using. They don't speak to you at all. sometimes I would use those and just cut them up and use them as scraps and figure out sizes. And then once you do it once, you can remember for the next time you want to use the sketch. Okay, yeah, this is what I like. This is what I didn't like. My line was up too high. Next time I want to try it lower. So let me redo these measurements. I did have somebody also ask me if I keep a book of my sketches. Generally, I don't. All I have is really what I'm sharing with you guys here. And I will admit, like, a lot of times I don't have measurements because I try to get the ones that are already online with the measurements. And when I was making my own designs, trying to start up doing that, I was trying to make sure to put measurements on there for you because it is easier. Because if you're wanting to do something different, if you have a base, meaning like I give you 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. If you want to make it bigger, if you want to make it smaller, you can adjust because you have a number where you're starting at, like a recipe. So now on this centerpiece here, I did matte, and then I put a little piece of fun foam underneath, and we're just going to add some of our ATG tape, and I believe I hit it with some of the wet glue. I always use both on this too. That way, make sure it definitely sticks to the project, especially when you have, like I said, that textured paper. And then we're going to put some foam behind the sentiment piece as well. Now, my sentiment piece is a little bit smaller. Like the Mojo Monday sketch is like a little bit more of a rectangle, but I liked the sentiment square that I got from the actual paper collection. So actually this particular paper collection, it does not go with the sentiment. The sentiment I got from a Kaiser Craft collection, and then the paper itself is the 12 by 12, and I want to say it's My Mind's Eye is the actual paper collection. But it works because it has the gold. The gold is going, ties in with the sparkle. So I liked it. Now what I did was those sentiments that I punched out and I keep in my little jar, I just grabbed one of them and I'm going to glue it down right into the center. And it just says, have a holly jolly Christmas, I believe. And then once I attach our base card here, more art glitter glue, give us that little bit of time to be able to make sure we get it nice and centered. We're going to go ahead and get this put on. And it is complete. And then of course, you know, if you're using ribbon or something like that and you want to put a bow where they have their bow in the picture, you can totally do that. You can add Nouveau drops, your sequins. Yep, have a holly jolly Christmas is what's on the inside. I could have done another pattern paper where the happy holidays is and do a different sentiment on the inside. I think on this one I did it on the craft and it says 'tis the season to be jolly, which is happy holidays. So cute. But all those are stuff that are already in my craft room. So you can really use scraps, you can use elements from different projects, as long as they have the same tonal quality. A lot of times you can infuse everything that you have in your stock, okay? So thank you guys for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And as like on the previous videos, all my links will be down below. And definitely check out our 1 through 20 videos. So much sketches and so much fun. I hope you guys are really enjoying this season. Have a great one, and I'll see you tomorrow with our next video.